What up, Zach?
Skyler,
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
let me highlight your video. Hey man, how's it going? So
Going.
I just was just giving them a talk about everything and just doing some house cleaning real quick. So tell us about your experience with the Internet of Blockchains and how long you've been involved with it, and a little bit of your background.
Yeah, man. So, like in terms of my background, I've kind of been in cryptocurrencies since like 2017, when like the most of us that were in back then got burned. I bought the top of XRP at $3 and it tanked to like 15 cents. And so I kind of got out of cryptos at that time because I lost a couple grand. And then I re-entered in like 2019-ish. And kind of time went on. I got back into XRP when it was real low. And then, Dion came along over at NYC and I started watching his videos. And then he mentioned like to own some Atom tokens. And I was kind of intrigued. And so I started watching videos and learning about the Atom token. And while I was staking Atom, there was the Stargate upgrade in early of 2020. And with that, there was multiple snapshots taken for like the Osmosis token and the Juno token and stuff like that. Fortunately, I was able to receive those. But after like getting those about 6 months ago, I started like diving into what IBC actually is and understanding that eventually like the interblockchain communication protocol that is like a Tendermint baby, which is the software company behind the Atom token and the Cosmos in general, is eventually going to connect to most blockchains that are willing to connect to the Cosmos hub. So that's kind of like I dived down the rabbit hole, and then I started to branch out on my own. Yeah, so I started like a Twitter account and my own Patreon and stuff like that. But I think that ultimately, moving forward, like for example, right now there's 35 blockchains. Like you can go to mapofzones.com, you can see all the blockchains that are currently enabled via IBC. Moving forward, or by the end of the year, the word is that about 200 blockchains will be IBC enabled. And so you can imagine the volume of capital that will flow into the actual Cosmos when that happens. And so that's kind of like my rundown of what's going on and stuff like that. But thanks for having me here, Zach.
Yeah, so tell them exactly how much you made with the airdrops on Cosmos Ecosystem so far.
Oh, oh man. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's been glorious. So, I staked the Atom tokens back in January of last year, and then I heard about an Osmosis snapshot, and I got the Osmosis. I got like 1,500 of those tokens for free, like just airdrop to me. And then I also realized that I qualified for the Juno airdrop. And so I got 300 Juno tokens just airdrop to me. And is what I've always done is whenever I get airdrops, I don't sell them. Like a lot of people dump their tokens. I just stake them. I've always done that. So I just staked it. And then as I got more involved, I started voting. Like the key takeaway here is I qualified for the Neta airdrop, which I got 11 tokens. That's an airdrop worth over like 30K right now. And the only reason I got 11 was because I voted. Had I not voted, I would have only gotten one, because the idea was that you delegate 25 minimum Juno, but you also vote on policy or some of the ideas or the governance proposals. And because I voted on multiple, I didn't vote on all. Had I voted on all Juno proposals, I would have gotten like 5 extra Neta. So I think, and then outside of that, I mean, it's just been amazing. There's the Graviton token coming. There's works with the Sagan network, which will be the canary network of the Cosmos ecosystem. I mean, airdrops aren't going to stop anytime soon. And like, because of the Juno token and it's a brand new chain, like I would almost, no financial advice, but I'd recommend probably staking at least 25 Juno tokens, as well as some Atom tokens. Sagan, the Theta upgrade comes in like 2 weeks. And anytime there's an upgrade to a blockchain, you want to make sure that you're staked, because typically there are snapshots that occur when that happens. So lots of money.
I let all the people know the recommendations: 25 Atom, 25 Juno, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, now Juno's kind of high, and you got to imagine the reason that token is being fueled right now is because we have the raw token snapshot coming up that hasn't been the snapshot details haven't been released yet. And so I feel like a lot of people are likely FOMOing into that. But then the other side of it is that the Neta token, that's a store of value. There's only ever going to be 32,000 of those tokens. And that's if people claim them. Right now, I think we're like 93 or 94% claimed on the Neta token. But whatever's not claimed by February 28th gets burned. There's no clawback. It just gets burned. So I think that people are FOMOing into the Neta token. I mean, that token's at like $3,100 right now or something like that. It's just insane.
Do you still think we're gonna see that dip with Neta, or do you think that's just gonna keep going?
Yeah. So I talked to a technical analyst and he said that the RSI was like at 87. And typically when the RSI is at that high, it's extremely overbought. And so I was expecting a pullback, and I think that we still will see something. I'm not a TA, so it's difficult for me to specifically say. But when something's extremely overbought, you normally let it cool down, because there will be inevitably a pullback. But because of how high Neta has gone, the question is how far will it pull back now,
Yeah, yeah. And I think the person I seen, the person with the most Neta right now is like 100. So it's ridiculous.
That's
Has
amazing.
potential to go to 30,000. I was looking up if it goes to $1 billion market cap, the same as Juno.
Well, dude, imagine there's only 32,000 tokens ever, and it is a store of value. Juno is a relatively new smart contract blockchain built on the Cosmos. I think people are not only FOMOing, but they're starting to recognize, they're starting to recognize the potential and the future of the actual Cosmos ecosystem in all. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I wish that I would have, purchased a few more, but I'm stoked I got some.
Yeah, man. I was looking at the only thing that really compares to it is Ion. Ion's at $10,000, and there's just a little bit less. There's 20,000 Ion, right? That's on
Yeah,
Cosmos.
yeah, exactly. I think I'm not exactly sure, but I know there's less than 32K. And the thing with Ion is that was just thrown into the whole Osmosis. Sonny Agarwal, who's the primary developer behind Osmosis Dex, he kind of just threw that in to the white paper kind of last moment from a interview that I watched with him. But that token was like 1K for a while before people realized what was going on. And then it shot all the way up to 23K. And now I think it is settling back down like halfway point there at 10K. But yeah, I think I wish that I didn't get any Ion. And it sounds like I qualified for the airdrop, but I didn't claim it in time. And so there was a clawback. So the other thing is stay on top of things. I was in PA school, very busy. And so now I've got a lot of time to dedicate this stuff. But when you're in, you're getting your bachelor's degree or master's degree, you don't have a lot of time, so.
That's exciting stuff. So for the people that just bought 25 Juno, can you explain kind of what the technology they just invested in?
Yeah. So Juno, the way I like to, just for the layperson, and I'm not like super technologically savvy, but I read a lot. The way I explain it is that it's ETH 3.0. And the reason that is because, and I'm not saying that, nothing in the Cosmos ecosystem is trying to beat out other blockchains. And that's why the community is different in the Cosmos. But the Juno token is built on the Cosmos. Basically, that's a fancy way of saying the Cosmos WebAssembly. And that's the technology that Jay Kwan and Tendermint built or developed back in like 2014, I think. And so like what you're investing in is a base level token that has very similar potential to what we saw Ethereum do with the smart contracts. It's IBC enabled. They have a store of value. They're not trying to beat out competition. They're not waiting for a 2.0 to launch. They're already 3.0 and they've launched.
Wow. And you're still we're all pretty excited about Corium. So this is going to be a kind of the similar situation as Corium, you think? Like similar tech base?
You know, I haven't done a lot. I know that Corium's built on the WASM or the Cosmos WebAssembly, and I know that's the affiliation there. I am excited about Corium, only because I'm getting the snapshots and the airdrops, and then I understand the connection with Sologenic and potentially listing all these synthetic assets in these things. Um, I think there's potential there with Corium. I still have to take a deep dive, but like as I was talking to you, like I definitely want to try to get the next step after like you get into these cryptocurrencies and you start understanding that they're the future. The next step is like how can you really be a part of it? And how can you help expand and help grow the ecosystem? And that's kind of like right where I'm at. That's why I started the Patreon. That's why I've been kind of really outgoing on Twitter and in a lot of these different Discord meetings trying to help people. The next step is a validator or running a node. And that's kind of where I'm at. And so like getting the 10,000 Corium tokens in order to qualify to run a validator, I think that like will be right at ground level, and obtaining those will be within our reach. And so that's something that I did watch a video on it and I did read the paper. To become a validator, you need 10K tokens like you and I had discussed. And so that's definitely in the back of my mind to
Well, let
do.
me ask you this. So this is kind of how I basically, it's like Cosmos, the way that they have it set up is financial freedom. So now that you have all this passive income coming in, you have all this income coming in, all of a sudden you have time to basically dedicate to serve and help other people. Be like, hey, I could actually help other people. And ultimately it helps you because the more people that get involved with the network, it's helping them because they get involved with the fair drops, they get involved with passive income, good stores of wealth. And then also the more people that get a part of the ecosystem, the value goes up. And then the more passive income comes in because the value of the tokens you hold goes up. So it's like a win-win for everybody. I love the whole idea. That's kind of like I've only been involved with it for a little bit, but it's been a great time. And the passive income is I've been looking for a money tree. I haven't found a better money tree than Juno so far.
Yeah, yeah, Juno or Osmosis in general. And now remember, when these pools or these dexes, when they initially launched, when Osmosis first launched back in late June, the pools were at like 5,000% APR. And so every day, and remember, one epoch in Osmosis is every 24 hours. And so every day I was waking up and just claiming my money. I'd never experienced anything like that. And trying to explain what was going on there to like a non-crypto native person, it's a Ponzi, but like Osmosis is not. And it's just been amazing. Like waking up, and for a long time, I was claiming like 50 or 60 bucks, like every morning, just waking up, claiming my 50 or 60 bucks. But wait for Juno swap to launch. Juno's going to have extremely high APRs. We're waiting for governance proposal 14 to be voted on and go through. Of course, they're waiting, or they're doing the snapshot. They said beginning of February. But, I think that some advice that I could give people is that just be ready for when Juno Swap first launches and make sure you get in there right away because the APRs are going to be phenomenal.
So when basically we undelegate, like how is that going to work when we're delegated right now? So it takes like 2 weeks to undelegate, right?
Yeah, so it depends on the bonding period that you decided to do. On Osmosis, there's the 24-hour or the 1 day, the 7 day, and the 14-day bonding periods. So, I mean, if you were interested, if you wanted to, you could probably start unbonding the 14 days now, but I would wait for multiple reasons. I would wait for if you're a 1 or a 7 day. And that's what I'm doing. And the reason is because a lot of times when these dexes first launch, there's some hiccups. And so I oftentimes wait a day or maybe 2 days in order to completely go 100% into these dexes. And of course, you got to imagine, because they're both in the Cosmos, the Osmosis dex, as well as the Juno swap dex, money's going to flow from Osmosis over into Juno swap because of the higher APRs. And so you can imagine what's going to happen is the APRs on Osmosis will probably climb a little bit. But I think the best idea would be ready to go into Juno swap. Yeah.
So if there's potentially a dip with Juno, basically as soon as these APRs gets announced, that dip's going to be over real fast. That's what I'm thinking.
Based on past experience, that would make sense. I think people are starting to wake up. Like I was in a IBC gang, which I'd encourage all of you guys, if you're interested, go and join on Twitter. His name is Gaines. I follow him, and he kind of every other day or every day they'll have like an IBC gang, and I was in the IBC gang, which is the inter blockchain communication gang, which is basically all the tokens, and we just kind of chatted up about things that are going on. And so kind of what we were saying in there is that yeah, it's just going to be insane, man. So
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. One of the things when Juno was first announced, one of the things people were doubting it, like when it was, $10, $9, $8, $5,
$5,
because
yeah.
there was no VCs behind it, no big investors. That was kind of like one of the things, like, oh, how can this really become big if it's just a community-based project? And then
Yeah.
announcement. People are starting to realize the team behind it. They have a really big team, right? Like really experienced.
They have multiple developers. Wolfram, I believe I follow him on Twitter, but it's completely decentralized. I mean, and a lot of times what I would encourage newcomers to recognize, and something that it took me a moment to, is that like the community behind these cryptocurrencies is everything. If you want to get involved into a cryptocurrency, and it's a lot of people will just try to invest in different things and not really know what they're investing in, but hope for that 100x. And I get it. I've done that. I've been there. But community with Juno is everything. Like there's a crew in the Neta Discord. There's the Neta NFT that's going to be coming for like the first 3,000 that went ahead and provided liquidity with the Neta token. And so there's like a rare NFT that's going to be launched, and that's completely community based. That has nothing to do with the developers of the Neta token or the developers of Juno. And so what I would encourage is people to understand, like, community behind these cryptocurrencies is everything. And Juno Swap Juno, the token, is completely decentralized. So
That's pretty exciting, because that's what excited me about Neta was like, this was, to me, you said Juno was ETH 3.0. Well, Bitcoin is 10.0. Neta is 10.0 Bitcoin, because those people in the early days, there's even people that have lost, like Stefan Thomas from the Interledger protocol has like 9,000 Bitcoin from the early days that basically he's going to eventually be able to get the private keys to. Like, people in the early days got large amounts of Bitcoin. The most anyone got basically at the early days of Neta is 14 at the most. And it basically went all throughout the people that were participating and loved and supported this network. So it was fairly distributed. That's like, you can't get more decentralized than that.
No, I mean, and that's kind of what's going on too, Zach. And the whole Cosmos, everything, like the Osmosis token was completely distributed to the community. There wasn't any private sale or anything like that beforehand. And the same thing with the Juno token, the same thing with the raw token that's going to be the Juno Swap native asset. Like, this is like what drives the whole Cosmos ecosystem, is the community behind it, and the fact that they distribute everything to the community. And it just makes the community stronger. Nothing that I've ever experienced. I've gotten deep the last probably 2 months, but before that, I was in ETH, I was in Phantom, I was in AVAX DeFi in the backwoods of Monero, like just trying to, I was a farmer, just trying to find the best yields for my assets and things like that. And there's nothing really like what's going on in the Cosmos in general.
Okay. Well, any other important learnings you think that you should share with the audience? We have 42 people in here.
Oh, awesome. I didn't realize there was that many people. I did see a question pop up. You get Neta on Juno Swap, but I think that, like, what I would share is just make sure you're staking some. Like, I provide liquidity with about 80% of my total assets, but with 20%, I'm staking. I'm in Atom staking, Osmo staking, Juno staking. I stake Akash. Like, Akash shouldn't be estimated either. Like, Akash is going to be the cloud of Web3. It's pretty amazing. It's like $1.30. So like I'm constantly like stacking up on Akash here and there and just staking it. Like Greg Osori's an absolute legend. I'd kind of read about Akash. But then also like a secret network, like the whole idea what Secret's got going on, like their smart contracts will be completely non-transparent unless the person that owns that wallet wants it to be transparent to the public, And so like there's just a lot going on in the Cosmos in general, and like tokens that I'm staking is Juno, Atom, Secret, Akash, and Osmo. And I think before the Theta upgrade in a couple of weeks here, I would definitely think about staking Atom. And this doesn't mean to go balls to the walls, because, you know, there will obviously be pullbacks, and there's this whole thing going on with Russia and Ukraine. And if that happens, and of course there's going to be a pullback in the market. So that, I think that overall, just make sure you're staking, make sure you're voting, make sure you're compounding.
Yep. So people are asking, is it a good time to get Neta? I would say that, like you said, it's gonna be volatile in the early days, but if people wake up and realize what this is, it could spike up really, really fast. And what are your thoughts?
You know, if you looked at the charts, you would say it's extremely overbought. And like the savvy investor would sit back and wait to see what happens. With Neta, though, there's only 32K tokens, and I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I've got 11 because they were airdropped to me. But I mean, I would have bought when it was $1,000 or $1,200 the other day when, you know, you kind of jumped in, but I can't really give that recommendation because then it could tank back down to, you know,
No, I think
$1,000.
if it's a store of wealth and you hold it for 12 months, if by the end of the year it's going to be $10,000 minimum.
Right. And the other way to look at this too is like, it's not only going to be the store of value like they're claiming Bitcoin is. Like with Neta, you'll be able to put it in the pools and provide and get passive income. And imagine what the APR is going to be on that Juno Atom or the Juno.
Well, there's only 30,000 people that could actually provide liquidity to that.
And that's max. And if there's a couple guys that have, you know, 100 tokens, so.
Seems like people are stacking this shit up, man.
And I don't blame them. I mean, I wish I would have gotten more, like I said, but you know,
well,
I mean,
if it pulls back, I'm going in again. I'm diving in again. But anyways, not everybody needs a store of wealth. Some people in here are just getting started. You just gave us tons of opportunities. So those are the top ones. Tell us a little bit. So this is the alpha leak for the UMI, right? This is like some secret shit.
Oh yeah. So the UMI airdrop. Yeah. Is that what you're saying, Zach?
Yeah, that's like a secret because that's like a alpha leak drop or something.
Yeah. So, you know, Crypto Cito, I watch his YouTube channels here and there, and particularly the airdrop one, he kind of spoke about the UMI and how you had to interact with testnet. And so I kind of already had that leak because I read the Medium article. But so is what I did is I made the video. So is what I, you know, and it's a little bit difficult, but if you like follow the step by step in the video that I made, so the token generation event is on February 15th. And from my understanding, as long as you interact with testnet before then, you'll get the UMI token airdrop. But, you know, I could be completely wrong. I'm not part of the development team, and, you know, but this is just kind of like my understanding.
Yeah, so it could be a huge, huge airdrop. And the worst case scenario, you got some practice learning how to practice with the beta test of UMI. So I did it. A bunch of other people did it. So I'm excited for that one. We delegated to Pupmos and
Nice.
King Nodes,
Awesome.
$100 minimum. So
Yep.
we got one airdrop called Hulk, but I heard the Hulk airdrop, about 98% of the creators kept for themselves. So it's like not a good one, right?
Yeah, I'd probably chill out on that token. I think that they airdropped like 10K tokens to everybody's wallet. But like you said, whoever, and you know, the primary developer, whoever it is, he still owns 95%. So I wouldn't, you know, this is what's going to come with a token like Juno. You know, it's completely permissionless and trustless, and so anybody's able to launch a token with Juno, man. And so I think that we just got to be careful. Make sure you guys. I don't think it's going to get as bad as like say Stellar, because the from what I've read, like tokens will only be able to, one token will only be able to have the same ticker. So there won't be multiple tokens that can have the same ticker. Like on Stellar, if you go there, there's like tokens with the same ticker, and you have to make sure that they have, you have to verify contract addresses and make sure that you're not purchasing some scam token. But that's not going to happen on Juno. They're going to have different tickers. So just, you know, be cautious though, because it is permissionless and trustless, and anybody will be able to utilize Juno Mint to launch a token.
That's a good recommendation. So any other pro tips, or is that everything?
Pro tips, let me think. Stake 25 secret. I would probably do that. I was in the IBC gang meetup, and they were saying that there's going to be some type of airdrop for secret. And like one of the devs or somebody was saying, if I were you, I would stake 25, or I would stake secret. And typically when I stake, I do 25 minimum. But if you can't do that, then do 10 minimum, because there's typically minimums with these airdrops. For Juno, it was 25, and you had a vote, so.
Cool.
And I'll be doing a YouTube video on secret swap, because there's also a CFI token, which is the native token to secret swap. And that token's like 4 cents right now. And I think that, basically the way to imagine it is the CFI token is to secret swap what osmosis is to, or the Osmo token is to osmosis, So I think that it's undervalued, and secret swap just got like a $40 million grant. I'm going to try to talk about it in the video that I do. I've just been kind of caught up, but so I think that they got a lot of funding come in. They just launched the Infinity Pool. You can stake CFI for like 25 cents. So I think that the biggest alpha leak would just be to stake 25 secret, 10 minimum, and then start investigating over on secretswap.net, not .io, because .io is having issues on the front end. So do secretswap.net. And then just start like dabbling and farming and stuff like that over there. Stake some CFI tokens and things like that.
Okay. So yeah, IBC is definitely something I've been doing a lot of research into. Internet of Blockchains. They have the Interchain Foundation. So
yeah, and the Interchain Foundation.
These are all like brand new. Like this is like the beginning of the new interconnected internet,
Right.
basically, and all these different chains need to be interconnected. And I'm seeing more and more. I mean, the Interledger protocol is going to be interconnected with Cosmos, and I think that's really when it's going to be game over for us, man.
Well, yeah, I know. It's super exciting. So I think that the key takeaway is the Interchain Foundation was founded by Jay Kwan, who's the main guy behind the Tendermint, or behind the Atom token. But aside from that, just imagine there's only 35 tokens or 33 tokens that are IBC enabled right now. We just brought in Kava to the IBC gang. And they have like some type of event going on right there where you can stake for like 50% your Atom tokens. But by the end of the year, there will be over 200, 230, 250 IBC enabled tokens. And so just imagine the capital. I think that it's not too late. Like these projects I'm very long on, like these are my retirement funds, like I'm not going to be getting, even if say there is some like catastrophic economic event or something like that, or Russia or China or war or whatever the rumors are, I'm going to be just staking and just accumulating continuously, So that's kind of
Well, I
my
think that's the
plan.
beautiful thing about these communities and these they're basically like sovereign systems. They're not part of any
Right.
system that exists now. It's like sovereign communities. And
Right. And that's the way to imagine a decentralized autonomous organization. Like if you look at the fundamentals behind an actual DAO and the way we go in and vote on the blockchain and stuff like that, like if you think about it in 50 years, like the current Senate and House of Representatives, I don't know that would even be necessary if we can get everything on the blockchain and vote like that. Now I know this
that's
sounds
really
like
what got me
sci-fi.
inspired when I did my first voting proposal on Juno, and I did it and my vote was registered to the blockchain. I'm like, this is going to be the future of everything. We're going to be voting as basically communities on, what we want to see the future of this technology go. So we have complete control, and like you said, any event that happens, any financial collapse, I feel like Juno, like we're all on our own wave. Like we don't even give a fuck. We're going to be just chilling on our computers,
Stacking.
world burning down. We got Neta, we got our store of wealth, we're chilling. So we created our own economy, what I said. Like literally this is an example that's going to spiral. We're going to have Corium be the next example too, because that's all community based. But it's literally like we're creating an example of like we literally just created our own economy. We have our Juno Moneta like in the Roman times. Like we have our own bank. It's literally insane. And when people realize that, I saw predictions, if this gets to the same market cap as Cardano, who does smart contracts, $900 at Juno. So I'm here. I have a 12-year plan. If you look at the tokenomics, it's a 12-year plan. I have a 12-year plan with Juno. I believe I'm set with this. this is just a lot of people. We talk about a lot of different ecosystems on this channel. I've never really done a deep dive. So thank you for hopping on and going deep with us on Juno and sharing with people what they just invested in. So I think
Yeah.
people are a little bit more cozy that this isn't like a pump and dump. This isn't like
No.
people are like, oh, am I late? Is it early? Is it what is this? Like it's people are, this is something brand new. So thank you for coming on and clarifying it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Let's see if anyone has any questions from Skyler, guys. Any questions for Skyler? Let's see. His name is Shipmate Cosmonaut on Twitter. There's a lot of what is it called, jargon in this video. I'll help post some follow-up videos with photos showing you guys what secret network, how to get it, etc. So we will we'll get through all the jargon for the people that are confused.
Yeah.
In the future episodes. This is just basically our first video to get. This is more of an interview than a workshop. So I have tons of catching up to do. Someone said buy Juno now or wait for possible airdrop dip. That's what someone asked.
Oh, I mean,
he can't give financial advice though, guys. He can't give advice like this.
This is the way I look at it, man. Like, and this is the way I've been, just dollar cost average, or you guys will hear people use the term DCA. Like if you have $100, maybe put $25 in today, and then 25 tomorrow, and then 25 in 2 weeks. Like, and that's called dollar cost averaging. And so over time, as you can see, as the price of Juno will fluctuate, you'll kind of help level out by just putting 25 here, or buying one Juno a day, or $200 worth a month or something like that. And then over time, you'll get the baseline average of the overall price. And that's kind of like, I've read books by Jack Bogle, who's the founder of Vanguard and stuff like that. And I think the way to look at it is to dollar cost average for sure. But the primary feature of investing is to be long on whatever you get in. Make sure you believe in it. And it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And so like Zach said, we've got a 12, 20-year plan. Just buy here and there. This isn't going to be a get rich overnight thing. And the price of Juno might pull back. It probably will, but I don't do technical analyst. I just talk to a guy that does, and I know the RSI, which tells us is it overbought or is it oversold. I know that it's super high right now, and I could presume, or we can make the conclusion that it's because of the airdrop that's impending, but also the capital that's flowing through because of the Neta token.
Todd says, what could be the APR on Juno, Neta, liquidity pool, and Juno swap?
Oh, it's, I haven't been able to read a Medium article on it, but if I look back at all the other AMMs, or the automated market makers, or the DEXs that I've put my money into, they're typically very high. Like, remember when Osmosis first launched in June or July, I think it was late June last year, the APRs were like 3,000%. And they were that way. They trended down because imagine the APR is going to be super high, but as the velocity of money flows in, or the amount of capital comes in, the APR is going to trend down, because now that the rewards of that pool are being distributed amongst more people or more capital. Yeah, so I think that they're going to be pretty high, but also remember, like, just staking Juno right now is like 108% APR.
Yeah, the staking is already high as heck. Someone says, I'm a little confused about delegating. Also, I have all my Juno delegated, not sure what I do. Yeah, you delegate it. That's what means staking. So delegate it equals staking, guys. So the goal is, if you don't have the funds, you need, Skyler has a YouTube channel, guys. We'll get you guys connected with Skyler. Shipmate. Shipmate. So delegating to the validator is staking. Delegating to the validator is staking. Same place you do the staking is where you're going to do the voting. So you're going to be voting. So if you're going to join Juno, do not join for quick money. We told a money tree in our portfolio. This is something you're going to stake for long-term wealth. They have a 12-year tokenomic plan, and get involved with the community. They have a Discord. They're brand new. It just launched in when did it launch? December?
Yeah, I just launched, I believe in August or September was when the airdrop claim was. So that's kind of when things went live. But Juno has so many things building on it. You know, they have Juno Mint, they have Juno Drop. They like it's
The
just
DAO, they have a DAO too.
yeah, DAO's launching, like it's already going mainnet soon. Yeah, there's going to be multiple. It's just I like the
This is
project.
something that like you could actually get involved with the community. You know, your voice will be heard. You could vote. You know, you could. This is it's still really early for the people that want to get involved, as well as all the other things that talk about on this channel. You know, if you're more of a gamer, we got the EQ games for you. You know, there's something for everybody on this channel. I think the best place to be for passive income after learning about Skyler's success story with Cosmos and the airdrops and the staking. Also, my friend Rich, I know you're friends with Rich. He pops in the Zen Lounge Telegram a lot. Rich Exotic, he's been in osmosis since the early days. He has amazing passive income. I talked to him. So I've heard so many success stories that you know, I chose to participate, and I'm excited for all these airdrops, and let's continue to build the internet of blockchain. It's still brand new, still early, and
Less than a year old, man. The protocol is less than a year old, actually mainnet. So just imagine that.
yeah, and the internet of blockchains as a whole is actually one of the oldest, right? That's like one of the OGs, right? That's one of the first big projects.
The idea behind it, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that was Jaquan's actual idea was to build the internet of blockchains. And so, yeah, I mean the idea behind it, but the IBC protocol launched with the Stargate upgrade, which was last year in like January.
Oh,
And then
so it's only that's oh shit. And then basically utility with osmosis just came in when?
so the Osmo token was launched in June, and that's because again it was just snapshotted, and then you got the airdrop. But also don't underestimate osmosis. Like osmosis has layer ones that are building on top, or other tokens that are building on top of it. Like there's just so much going on. Like I can't even keep up. That's why like I started, in my YouTube channel, I'm just starting it out. I'll crank out more videos as I get better on buying the equipment and stuff like that. But I think that overall, my objective is similar to yours, Zach. It's just to get people involved. Like you guys, like we can invest in tokens and 100x or 50x. I've been in those tokens. I've wrote them up, I've wrote them down, and I've gotten out on time, and I haven't. But I think that just getting involved in the community, jumping over in these different Discord channels, talking to them, interacting with them, investing in projects that you believe in, that's really where you're going to notice the difference and where you're going to be successful in the crypto ecosystem.
Firmly agree, man. Firmly agree. I'm excited. Thank you for hopping on. If you guys have questions on where to find Skyler, just message me on the Telegram, or you want to give your shout them out real quick. You want to give them like where to find you?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I thought you were asking them if they wanted to voice their questions. But yeah, you guys can DM me on Twitter. I'm going to be looking at starting my own Discord or Telegram channel very soon, just kind of geared towards the Cosmos, and helping people kind of answer their questions and get into it. Because, I started a Patreon not to make money. It's because I needed to get compensated a little bit because I was spending so much time in Discord, just like helping people and stuff like that. But yeah, feel free to anytime, like on Twitter at Crypto Skyman, you can DM me there. And then once I get a Discord up and going, or a Telegram, I haven't decided exactly which route. I'll definitely share that with you, Zach, and we can go that route. But yeah, any questions, just reach out to me, and I'm sure Zach will invite me back here. And I'll do what I can to help onboard people into the Cosmos, because with everything that they have going on, I believe in my heart, I believe that the Cosmos is like a safe spot to be long term.
I agree, man. That's why I got the 12-year plan with Juno. So everybody have an awesome day, and peace.
Later.